Hi, Pat Batchelor here. Today's show, we're going to talk about the 5 habits that you absolutely need in order to land your engineering job. Honestly, these are the same 5 habits that you're going to need most to be successful in your engineering career, but they're particularly important when you're doing your job search. And the reason why is when we are in our job search, if you're unemployed, you're kind of out of your element. You're a little bit lost. You don't have a clear focus or direction, and you need to have these habits in place so that you can land your engineering job. So we're going to discuss these today. They're wonderful habits. I think you're going to enjoy the show because these habits will help you get started in your job search, continue it along the way in order that you might find your first job, your second job, or perhaps your dream job. Let's discuss. Hi, I'm Pat Batchelor, and this is the DIY Engineering Career Builder Podcast. With 25 years as an engineer and 10 as an engineering recruiter, I'm now stepping into the role of job search and career coach. I want to help you find a job in half the time and have fun doing it. Whether you're looking for your first job right out of college, your next job, or perhaps one day even your dream job, I'm here to guide you to the next step. This would be fun, entertaining, educational, and most importantly for you, empowering. So let's get started. Okay, so today's show, we're going to talk about the 5 habits that you need to have in order to be successful in your job search. But one of the things I would encourage you to do is if you get a chance, check out the DIY EJS website down below. And there's a store there. And these are the courses that I'm offering for anybody. If you're new to DIY and wondering, well, why is Pat Batchelor on here? These are courses that I've provided that if you take these courses, I guarantee you, you're going to get your money's worth. Because if you're stuck at home looking for a job, frustrated, applying, and wondering why nobody's calling you back, I just kind of laugh and I say, if all you're doing is applying for a job online, and you're not getting any phone calls, don't worry. Nobody will ever call you back. And you go, what? And you go, it's really hard to get noticed. And especially in professional roles, it's almost impossible. Not quite impossible, but it's really hard to get noticed and get found. So that's why I encourage you to check out the DIY programs down below. I think you're going to enjoy it. But today's show, we're going to talk about the 5 habits that you have to have in order to be successful in your job search. One of my favorite authors, he's a coach. He is a motivational speaker. His name is John Maxwell. And if you haven't seen any of his stuff, a couple of his videos, I'm going to put links down below, are fabulous links because they kind of tell a story and he explains so many different things. But one of his most famous teachings is he says, all the good things that you want in life are uphill. If you want to have a successful family, if you want to be a professional engineer, if you want to have enough money to meet all of your needs, all of those dreams and hopes and desires, kind of the American dream, is uphill. They are attainable, but you have to work hard and have habits that are aligned with your hopes and dreams. But the problem is today many people have uphill dreams, but they have downhill habits. They kind of wish, and then if you have uphill dreams and downhill habits, about the only hope that you have is a lottery. And you might hit the lottery and make a bunch of money. And that's why they're so successful. Why do people buy lottery tickets? Because they have uphill dreams, they have downhill habits, and they wishful thinking. And they go, if I won the lottery, well, this is what I would do with it, dear Lord. Well, good luck winning the lottery. But if you want to be serious about working towards your hopes and dreams, you're going to have uphill habits that match your uphill dreams, not your downhill habits. So what are uphill habits? What are uphill goals? Well, you know them. All the things you want. You want to have an engineering job. You want to make $50,000 or $100,000 a year. You want to have, and you can fill in the blank. That's the uphill dreams. The downhill habits, well, you know what they are. You stay up all night. You're either hanging out with your friends drinking, or you're partying, or you're playing video games, or you're watching porn. There you go. Those are downhill habits. Why? Because nighttime is for sleeping. My dad used to say, nothing good happens after midnight. And you just go, okay, well, he's kind of mostly true, unless you're working at a job. But nothing good happens after midnight. You have no reason to be up after midnight. Okay, I might start sounding a little old and giving you the advice you've already heard. But the first most important decision that you need to have is, if you have uphill dreams, you need to have uphill habits. And you just say, okay, well, Pat, what are they? I'm ready to go. All right, well, here's the first habit you need to have, and that is a commitment. You have to kind of have a mindset and an attitude saying, I made it through engineering school. And if I can do all of that blood, sweat, and tears, if I could take all of those courses, invest all that time, money, blood, sweat, and tears to get a degree, by golly, I know I can get a job. The problem is that it's an entirely different skill set. Going to college, taking notes, passing exams is a different skill set. Most engineers are pretty good at that. This part over here, the skill set that you need is learning how to foster new relationships, develop new relationships, and get interviews. And that's a different set of skill sets that they typically don't teach you in school. So that's what I'm here for. I'm an engineer. It takes one to know one, and I'm a coach. I teach people these soft skills over here that you need to have a job. Because what I'm here for is help bridge people from staying at home unemployed, hitting apply, to getting interviews. And that's a big gap. For some people, it's a little gap. Some people, it's a huge gap. And I'm here to help you bridge that gap. So that's what I'm here for. So the number one habit is making a decision. I'm going to find a job. I'm going to land a job. I don't know how long it's going to take, but until I do, I'm going to work at landing a job. And so the first step is making a decision. And the first decision is it's a process. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. Job searching takes time, and you want to just be at it a little bit every day. And you will make progress. I guarantee you. If you're at it every day, you'll make progress. So the first decision, I'm going to find a job. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk to anybody and everybody. That's called networking. I'm going to figure out who the decision makers are at the target companies. I'm going to maybe reach out to them and connect with them, and maybe start a cold call or a relationship. And there's all kinds of techniques to do that. That's what we teach in our DIY workshop, on how to start targeting and making connections with the people who have the power to say yes. The people who apply online, where those applications go? They go to a recruiter. And the recruiter does not have the power. The recruiter does have the power to say yes, you can be sitting for an interview. But the recruiter doesn't have the power to give you offer you a job. So if you only apply online, rarely, but sometimes you may get into the decision maker if it's a smaller firm. But that recruiter doesn't have the power to say yes, you're hired. And so you're allowing either a system or a person that doesn't have the power to hire you to say, no, you're not good enough for us. What? Don't let that happen. Don't let people who don't have the power to say yes tell you no. So that's a decision. You just say, okay, I'm not going to take no for an answer from someone who doesn't have the power to say yes. All right, so there you go. That's the first one, is making a decision. It's a commitment. Now, the next part involves fear. And you go, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Well, check out the video on the 4C formula. And it talks about how you make a decision. You have 4 steps in it, growing in anything you do new. Check out that lesson. And you'll see that commitment's the first thing. You have to have courage to lean into the second portion of this job search process. The third one is you learn capabilities, and then you grow in confidence. But what we're talking today about is habits. So the first habit's making a decision and having a good attitude. The second most important decision or habit that you need to have is control over your schedule. If you're going to go to a job, an engineering job, most of them are 9 to 5 or 8 to 5. So if you're unemployed, just make your job search is your job. And you're going to be at it every day. And so, if you typically have to get up at 6:30 in order to get showered and dressed and ready to go to work, get up at 6:30, get showered, get dressed. You may not put on a coat and tie, but you can put on a nice collared shirt, some slacks or jeans. Get up, get out of the house, go to work. Now, where would you go? Well, that's the second item. The second one is having a location where you can do your work and having the tools there you need. The only tools that you need is a laptop computer. Most people have that. Internet access, and then a cell phone. That's all you need for your job search. So those two things can help you with your job search. Those are the tools that you need. But having a location, a place to go. Well, Pat, where are you going to go? I don't have an office. Well, Starbucks, Panera Bread, other restaurants that, even Chick-fil-A, I go there from time to time. You can get there, you can order breakfast, you pay $8, or a cup of coffee at Starbucks is $5. You get for $5, you cruise over, you get in a seat, and you put your headphones on, you start drinking coffee, and you start networking, reaching out to making connections with the right people in order to get the right job. So if you'll do that, it'll make a huge difference. So you want to have a good place to go work. So having a location. And if you don't have the ability to get out, then find a nice quiet office space in your house. It may be your bedroom, it may be an office, it may be the basement, wherever it is, set up somewhere it's comfortable where you can focus on your job search and be at it for hours at a time, because it may take hours. So the first thing that you need to do is make a commitment. The second is having a good work schedule. The third one was having a location where to do it. And we just talked about that. The fourth thing you need to do is to manage your brand. Managing your brand when you're in a job search comes from two places. One is your resume. You need to have a nice resume. How sexy are resumes? Well, they're kind of boring. And there's a lot of words. And there's very few pictures. And it's not very interesting. So managing your brand and your resume, all it does is two things. It shows, maybe three. It shows you're interested. I'm available, because you're sending it to somebody and they go, oh, this guy's looking for a job. So it raises your hand. I'm interested in a job. The second thing it does is it gets you on the radar screen, but you're trying to build credibility. And so the experience that you have and the education you have, you write it on there in hopes that it catches somebody's eye, and in hopes that it builds enough credibility where they go, we like this guy. Let's pick up the phone and call him. So that's it. But listen, that is your resume. Your LinkedIn profile is today, this day and age, your LinkedIn profile, I just say it's 1,000 times more important than your resume, because 1,000 times more people are going to see it. And it's going to make many, many more impressions than your resume ever will get. If you work hard on your resume, you work hard on your job search. During your job search, over a week, 2 or 3 weeks, or 2 or 3 months, you may get 30 people to actually see your resume and go, is he any good? Your LinkedIn profile, you may get 2 or 3 people a day. If you're working at it, you may get a dozen people a day to see your LinkedIn profile. So your LinkedIn profile, and I just guarantee you, if you apply for a job online, if you go apply, if somebody happens to see your resume, which is not likely, but if they do, they're going to immediately, 100% of the time, trust me on this, if they see your application or your resume, 100% of the time, they're going to go, oh, well, let me go look at his LinkedIn profile, see if he's any good. And so they're immediately going to go look at your LinkedIn profile. And if you do it right, you put the link on the bottom of your resume or up at the top. They can just one click and then they see it. And that's where you're going to sell yourself. That's where you're going to go. They're going to go, oh my gosh, I thought he was good on paper. This guy's great. Well, how do you do that? Well, take the course, and you'll learn. But you want to have a great LinkedIn profile. It doesn't have to be fabulous. If you just go, look, I'm not comfortable putting myself out there. I don't have that much experience. I don't. You just don't want it to be boring. And anybody cannot be boring. You just want it to look professional. So you want to have a nice photo that where you look sharp. Your photo should be friendly, professional, friendly, and approachable. If somebody's sitting there with a frown on their face, and I've seen plenty of them, you go, oh my God, I wouldn't want to call that guy. He's mad. He's upset. I don't, no. Yeah, And if there's nothing there, they just go, oh well, he's not interested in LinkedIn. But if it's poorly done, if you've got one on there and it's misspelled words, if there's no picture or the pictures of, I don't know, not you, you just go, what? What's this person doing? If it's a poorly done resume, it detracts. It's like trying to swim a mile and you got an anchor around your foot. You're gonna sink. So that being said, having a great LinkedIn profile will propel your career further every day because it's out there. It's the people's, it's the public, and your peers, and maybe your first date. They're going to go look at your LinkedIn profile. They're going to go look at your social media website. If you're looking for a date, they want to see where you're working, what you're doing. They're going to look at your LinkedIn profile. So why not dress it up? Make it look professional. Make it look sharp. And if you're applying for a job, they're going to look at it and try to make a decision. Do you think he would fit on our team? So that being said, go update your LinkedIn profile. Make it look great. So that's the fourth area, is to manage your brand. If you've got bad stuff on your Facebook page, if you've got questionable activities and questionable stuff on your Facebook page, that's not professional. You just go, some recruiters, I don't, but some recruiters will dig a little deeper to kind of get an idea. Is this person really who they are projecting themselves as? So be careful what you put on your Facebook, in your media, your Twitter account or whatever. So watch your personal brand as it's out there in the world. And then finally, if you're stuck at home, if you have not had an interview in 3 months, for heaven's sakes, get a coach. Get someone who's in your court who can help you take the baby steps, or the steps, not baby steps, but the steps that you need in order to get your job. Those are techniques, those are tricks, those are ideas in how to get noticed. In today's world, it's hard to get noticed. You may go, man. And I just tell people, look, if it was your job to find a mechanical engineer, let's say you're working in Charlotte and you get a call and the engineering manager says, I've got to have a young engineer graduate. I want someone with a degree from Clemson with a master's in mechanical engineering that lives in the Charlotte area, that has pretty good personality, that's looking for a job, that has experience in fluid dynamics. If somebody came to you off the street and asked you that question, how would you find them? Well, that's their job. Well, how would they do it? Well, I guarantee you the way they're going to do it is on LinkedIn. How else would you find them? There's no other way. So for you, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, how is somebody going to find you? Just let me know. You can send me notes. I'm curious. Now, back before LinkedIn was a big thing, I used to tell people, look, I told my daughter, have a LinkedIn profile. I said, have a blog. Why? Because at least you're getting yourself out there. It didn't go very far. She wasn't that interested. It was, if you want to have a blog, okay, but it takes a long time to make it interesting and a lot of effort. A LinkedIn profile, you can spend 5-10 hours. You'll have a great LinkedIn profile. You'll start getting attractions. And it's a tool. It's not just a tool. When you go fishing, you have kind of two ways of fishing. There's more than two, but in a lake, it's usually two. One is you put out a trot line, you put some food, it sits there, the fish swim by, they pick it up, and then you catch a fish. And you're off drinking a beer or something, and you caught a fish. Or the second way is you try and target those fish, and you say, off of that point, there's some trees that used to be there. I bet you that, that nice trophy bass is in there, and you throw the right kind of hook, and you let it sink, and you throw the jig on it, and you're trying to attract that one fish to come out and bite it. Well, the same way with LinkedIn. It's like fishing. It's You can use it as an offensive tool. A defensive tool means people are calling you, the incoming inbound. But you can also use it as an outbound method to try to target who are the people that I want to talk to? What companies would I like to talk to? Who are the people there that I would like to interview with? And you start reaching out to those people intentionally, and you're using LinkedIn as a tool to help you target and start getting interviews with the companies that you want to interview with. So that's why LinkedIn is important. It's not just a online boring resume. No, it's a sales page. And it's not just, well, so people can find me. No, it's so I can find them. And so you're going to learn about those techniques if you have a coach, and I'm one of them. And the reason I got into this business was I just got tired of people calling me or applying for jobs and going, dude, you're making the same mistake. No, no, no. And when people apply for my job, I get hundreds of resumes. And I would just kind of sit back and, it's my job. I want to find the right people. But oftentimes there's a real thin little slice of what this job is and what the company's looking for. And I get all of these people that are applying, and there's a real thin little, slice. Right place, right location, right age, right experience, right, all of the skills, experience, all of this makes that a real thin window. Now there's 10 other jobs at the same company, but those aren't the ones that they're most desperate with or they're willing to spend money on. But there's jobs there. That's called the hidden job market. There's still jobs. It's an engineering firm, for heaven's sakes. There's a lot of jobs. And just because they're advertising for the senior structural engineer doesn't mean that there's not 5 other jobs right below it in an entry-level job. But they don't have time or money to spend on those jobs advertising them. But they're there. So how do you find those jobs? Well, join the course. And that's what we teach people, is how to find those hidden jobs in the job market. Once you take it, I'll just guarantee you, listen up. I'll guarantee you, if you join the courses and you don't like them, call me. I'll give you your money back. I'm not trying to take your money. I'm trying to help you invest in yourself. Why does it cost money? Why don't I put it on there and free? Because people don't value what's free and they won't do the work. But if you pay the money, it's kind of like, well, I paid the money. I better show up. Just like your calculus class, There's calculus classes for free online. And you can get it and you can pass your test for free. But why does people don't do it? Because they're not investing in it. They're not paying for it. So that's why there's a price. But it's a good price and you're going to get your money's worth. So if you're stuck at home, you need help, check out the DIY course. So that's all for my sales today. But remember, you need 5 things. And the reason you need these habits is because we're kind of out of an element. If you've lost your job or you haven't landed a job, you're used to having an engine to your day, a place where you need to go and show up and be active and in a direction. When you're unemployed, you almost lose that. You lose your schedule. You lose your expectations. Sometimes you even kind of lose your mojo, your confidence, because you're going, why'd they lay me off again? Why'd they cut me loose? It happens, and it's through no fault of yours, but it happens. COVID hits, the company gets bought out, the position's not needed. They've got 2 people, work slowed down, they only need 1, they have to cut someone. It's not your fault, it's just things happen. So you lose your confidence a little bit. So when you lose your confidence, your drive, you got to have these habits in place, those uphill habits. And you just got to say, you know what? Pat's right. I need to get after it. I need to start using my uphill habits, not beating myself up, calling myself a loser. You don't do that. But you start applying yourself and you work at your job search, you're going to be successful. It's just as simple as that. So that's it for today. I hope you put these 5 habits into place. Having a good attitude, making a right decision, watching your schedule, don't stay up too late, don't sleep in. Number 3, have a place to do your search. Number 4, Watch your brand. Make sure you have a great LinkedIn profile. And number 5, if you're stuck and you need help, give me a call. Join the course. Get with it. Have a coach that can help you answer the questions you need in a timely fashion and get where you want to go, which is getting hired. So there you go. That's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this show. If you have, leave me a 5-star, maybe a 6-star, or just leave a comment on YouTube below, or if you're on a podcast, leave us a 5-star rating. That's all for today. God bless you. Take care. Have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. I hope you've enjoyed today's podcast. Every episode is my goal is to make this podcast fun, entertaining, educational, and empowering. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please leave us a 5-star review and subscribe on Apple, Google, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you'd like to get information on how to update your LinkedIn profile, visit www.diybjs.com. So that's all for today. Be safe, have a great week, and we'll see you next time. God bless you. Bye-bye.